it trespasses your mind, so and then it goes right into your feeling. So music doesn't ask permission, right? When you hear a song,
Right.
it will pull on your emotions, whether you want it or not. When you get stressed out, you go to high beta. Okay, so brainwaves also play a part in self-regulation. And if you were traumatized as a child and you went through an experience where you had either abuse or trauma or repeated abuse, it affects your way of thinking and your brainwaves. And
your baseline.
yeah, so then if you're always stressed, that's not healthy.
Right.
So your nervous system is the third thing that you need to understand, is that we have the fight or flight response, and then we have the rest and digest response. So if you are constantly on the fight or flight response, if your fight or flight response is activated for more than for an extended period of time, let's just say extended, right? Like right now, if we saw an alligator here in the living room, we would go into fight or flight, right? It would be like, oh my God, like, unless if you love alligators, but I don't, I'm gonna be scared, right? And my stress response would be activated. If the alligator leaves, the stress response we should be able to like release that fear and let it go. But what's happening now in society is that there is no alligator. There's other stressors that have replaced these real danger situations, and people are imagining danger for long, extended periods of time, and they're
being triggered,
and they're activating the stress response for long periods of time. So now you have a culture that's depressed and anxious, right? Because they're not understanding their nervous system. So if you are somebody that has always activated the stress response and you don't know how to enter into the rest and digest, it's called the parasympathetic system. You have the sympathetic system and the parasympathetic response. The parasympathetic response is such an amazing, just imagine a moment where you experience peace, no stress at all. You're not worrying about the future. You're not rehearsing the negative past. You're just in bliss. And a lot of people can't say, I know how to get there.
Right.
So imagine getting there on a daily basis,
where
you can experience bliss. And I imagine that prayer is something that helps, but it's not the only thing. You have to know how to use your own biology and how to tap into that parasympathetic response, that rest and digest response.
Yeah, I think it ties together with prayer and meditation and and these types of things. It ultimately, it's sending the same message of like, hey, ground yourself, realign yourself with what you believe, right? Calm down a little bit, like clear your head.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying too, but you're just going a little bit further. And like, here's how you actually do it, right?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, how do you do that? Yeah.
Because I've prayed, and it could be a stressful situation. Pray. Because usually most of the time people are praying, they're not saying a prayer of gratitude. They're usually saying a prayer of need.
Right.
Yeah. So, and even when they say a prayer,
$10,000 in a what?
And even,
$10,000 in a what?
Right, exactly. Instead of saying, okay, how do I really tap into this bliss and peace that passes all understanding?
Yeah.
Right? So there is a language of the nervous system. The nervous system has a language. If you tell to somebody, calm down, what usually happens?
The opposite.
The opposite, right? Because calm has to do with breath. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. If you want to calm your nervous system and you want to tap into your parasympathetic response, you have to breathe.
Right.
And there's a pattern called box breathing. Have you ever heard of box breathing? I'll explain it here. It's very simple. If you did this for like 5 minutes, you will literally start to tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. And what it is you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you hold for 4 seconds, and then you repeat again. Breathe. So this is called box breathing. So it's 4, 4, 4, 4. Breathe in for 4, breathe, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4.
Okay.
So, and that, when you do that for 5 minutes, you might start yawning.
Right.
And that means that you've activated the rest and digest response. And people don't realize that if you implemented that exercise and did that 2 or 3 times a day, it would affect your body in a positive way. It will have a positive impact. So I'm a big advocate of understanding the science, as I'm a truth seeker, right? So understanding brainwaves, emotions, and the nervous system. And a lot of people are not acquainted with, when we say fight or flight, there's also, it's really 4 responses. It's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And people don't realize that because we only say fight or flight, but it's 4 F's, right? Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And a lot of people don't understand fawning. And fawning is the one that I had adopted growing up and learned very well and mastered it. And fawning is chronic people-pleasing behavior. Is making sure that I became who you needed me to be. Because if I became who you needed me to be, then I would be safe.